Hi everybody, it's Jeremy. Making this video for some of my YouTube viewers, and mainly for it's a guy that works at Reef Nutrition. I'm sure you guys have heard of products. They make Phyto Feast and Oyster Feast. It's a container that looks like this. You've seen it a lot of the local saltwater fish stores, and one of the scientist there, his name is Chad. Really nice guy. I reached out to him because I had just started using Phyto Feast about 2 or 3 months ago, and I had some questions in regards to not just Phyto Feast but trigger pods and the Oyster Feast that Reef Nutrition makes. And so I had a couple questions and concerns to how it should be fed in conjunction with one another, the best way to dose the trigger pods, and so forth. And he was very informative. And not only was the customer service just rocking and rolling and very detailed information back. You know, some of these people we call in our saltwater fish trade, you get responses, but they're not always the most detailed responses. Well, Chad was super detailed, and he really took the time to talk to me, which made a lot of it really impacted a lot on me. So anyways, this tank has been about a year and a half old, and I've had great success with stocking of fish and everyone getting along. Every fish you see in here is over 8 months old. The dartfish is the oldest. He was the first one I got. So I've had great success with. I've never had to take out a fish because he was causing problems as far as aggression or anything like that. You know, I had a yellow clown goby that was chewing on some SPS corals once he matured some, and he had to go. But other than that, I've made good decisions, I think, overall. However, you know, I follow Bulk Reef Supply and their YouTube channel a lot, and I really think that they have good advice. And one of the things they did a study on is a 52 FAQ videos they make is they say you don't have to feed your corals anything extra than just the food that you feed to your fish. And while that may be true, I noticed that my corals were just growing at a snail's pace, very slowly. And you know, I was kind of skeptical of using any type of coral food and things like that for inverts and yada. And so I finally just said, you know what, I want to make the plunge. I got in contact with some pretty experienced reefers that I trust on the YouTube channel. And one of the products I started using, like I said, was a Reef Nutrition. Now I also started using the Aqua Vitro Fuel right here. This is really good. And I started using you can buy some BRS, the Reef Chili, which is also a really good product. And I'm not going to go over how to dose them right now. The point of this video is that I started following the directions, because when you buy these supplements or additives or coral food, whatever you want to call it, they give you directions and guidelines on how to when and how to dose. And a lot of us kind of try to cut that in half until we feel like our tanks have kind of gotten used to it and can really the corals and the inverts can eat it in a timely manner, so it's not turned into waste and polluting the tank. So I've been kind of stepping up slowly, and I want to say I've noticed a huge difference. I don't have the fastest growing corals or anything like that, but I can tell you, for the most part, I've been able to keep corals alive. A lot of these I've had a long time, and honestly, they've just stayed the same size the whole time. I'll name some of them, and then my girlfriend, who's gracious enough to take the video, she'll kind of zoom in on some. But this meteor shower coral I've had for over a year, and it literally would not move. It just stayed the same growth, and it had not that great of colors. And as soon as I started feeding it and feeding it tank coral food, it just took off like lightning. It was the most amazing thing ever. And every tank is different, so what works for me may not work for you, as you know. And so that's when you become in tune with your tank. And a good you know, rule of thumb is to, you know, be a conscientious reefer, and to where you're watching your tank and you understand the way it all works, because they're not all the same. It's not like a standard blueprint that works. We have proven methods that have been used by lots of reefers that work over the years, but it's still variables that make things different. So like I said, everything's doing great. So we'll go over what we have in here. We've just got your typical like SPS, LPS, and some softies, nothing crazy. Got 2 mushrooms that are doing really good, different types. Got some meteor shower, a Duncan coral that's really exploded since I started feeding it Phyto Feast. I've got some polyps over here. I got some teacup polyps over here. I've got a green acro that's just doing great. And then I've got a alien eye coral and a Priscillipora and a yellow bird's nest that's really doing good. And to caveat to this, the feeding, what it's done is I've had this red cocoa feather duster for over a year now, and it slowly just kind of started. Its feathers kept getting like a little shorter and shorter, and just was smaller and smaller. And ever since I started feeding about 3 months ago, it's just exploded. It's gotten way bigger, doing really, really good. I have another red feather duster, which is like the more of like the predominant white with a little bit of red stripe across it, and I got that 3 weeks ago, and it's doing better than it was in the pet store. So that goes to tell you. Like I said, I'm no expert. I don't know anything. We'll go over the fish lineup real quick. I have a Swallows basslet, which I'm very proud of. Swallows basslet. I run a very peaceful community tank here, so shyer fish usually don't come out. Will come out with this tank. I've got a pink skunk clownfish, a Tumini tang, a scissor-tailed dartfish, a bicolor chromis, a Tanaka pygmy wrasse, and a blue assessor. So that's everybody. So without further ado, we're going to cut the pumps off. We've got the food ready to go right there. And my girlfriend's going to do the best she can to kind of get everybody in action. So, Chad, this is for you. You wanted a video. I want to give you the best I can, buddy. And hopefully the fish aren't camera shy, because, you know, surprisingly enough, they are. So here we go. We're going to feed. I like to use a pipet because I like to not have too much of a bio load. I run bio pellets. I actually probably should feed more sometimes, but I'll show you how my routine goes. So I like to kind of start over here. Everybody gets some food. There's that pretty Tanaka pygmy wrasse. Aren't those just gorgeous fish? So you'll see the Swallows basslet here pretty soon. There's that Swallows basslet. Those are really gorgeous. So not trying to be arrogant, but I think it's rather rare to have a Swallows basslet, however you pronounce it. I've had them for about 7 months now, and you don't always see those out in the open. They're usually very, very cryptic fish, and they hide a lot. And so I think him being out like that is pretty impressive. And I think it's you know, for me, I'm proud of it, because you know that's when you've stacked a peaceful community with plenty of space to move around and swim, and everybody's getting happy here. So there's that Tanaka pygmy wrasse. I have to be honest, the Tanaka pygmy wrasse is probably my favorite fish. He's just a real delight. I got the first one I got was online from, I think, Live Aquaria. He was a DOA, and there he goes. Look at him strike. He's about to get that piece right there. No, maybe not. So tonight we are feeding Hikari foods and some other stuff. So we're feeding the Hikari, I think it's mega marine algae, I think it is. It's got krill, some squid, some other things. They come in like the green tubes. They have algae in it. I'm feeding them, what else am I feeding them? The other one, it's like the mega marine, that's like in the pink blocks for you guys that use a Hikari food. You probably know what I'm talking about. And I'm also feeding some fresh clam strips that are as fresh as you can get. I grind it up in a grinder and I feed it to them. And here's my shrimp, who it's funny, my fire shrimp comes out a lot. These fish are kind of camera shy a little bit, but he's usually out kind of messing around. And let's go ahead and feed the Duncan coral real fast and let you guys kind of get a view of that, because it is fun watching them close up. So we're going to feed the Duncan right here. Check that out. Watch him just, there you go. I think it helps a lot. They will eat these huge pieces of food like it's nothing. So I do feed that. I don't see anything really wrong with it. So anyways, we're gonna be closing up the video here in a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here's a blue assessor. He's doing real good. Those are from Australia. And the only other fish we're going to add in here is a geometric pygmy hawkfish, and probably 3 or 4 weeks when he's done our quarantine, and maybe one day a mandarin, maybe a green mandarin. I know how difficult those can be. They're not expensive, they're just difficult, and I don't think it's fair to just go and get something that you're not going to have success with. So there's kind of general guidelines when you can tell if your tank is ready for a mandarin, and I'm trying really hard to go off of those the best I can, and I want to try to get one that's eating frozen foods from the pet store, because when they only eat live foods, you're really putting a lot of pressure on yourself to make sure that fish succeeds and is healthy. So without anything else really to put out, I'm going to close my doors. Actually, I'll leave them open, let some of the heat out. This is my 90 gallon, like I said. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't started using Reef Nutrition Phyto Feast, highly recommend it. Give me all your comments, good, bad, negative, positive. Tell me your experiences on with Phyto Feast and what benefits you've seen or haven't seen from it. And the Aqua Vitro fuel, that's a good one too, in the reef chili. I started spot feeding the Aqua Vitro reef chili into my tank, and I'm sorry, not the Aqua Vitro reef chili. I started feeding reef chili directly to the feather dusters, and I think that's what really bulked them up. So anyways, hope you guys have a good Sunday night, and look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.